Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk to all of you about a little bit of an answer to prayer that was, well, it's a story I've got to tell everybody because it just makes you think about, you just never know who you're going to run into in the day. So this past weekend, I'm involved with a very in-depth Bible study on Sundays, and it's very engaging, and it's just kind of that deep, meaty study of the Bible. And at the end of this, we always, just give a prayer. And my prayer this past weekend was, Lord, whoever you send me this week, just give me the words of what I need to what I need to say. Well, let me tell you, I just got off a trip down to Sydney, Australia. I had a business thing there, and there I am, standing in line, waiting to get on the plane. I'm on the phone with a friend of mine here, and we were just kind of lightly talking about end times and things like that. Well, what do you know? The woman right in front of me in the line there just happened to hear what I was saying. And of course, she, as soon as I get off the phone, we just started to strike up this kind of conversation. Now, in this conversation, she made it very clear to me that she was Jewish, and obviously she would recognize that I'm Christian. And yet she was citing everything she knew all about the New Testament. It was a very fascinating conversation. Now, one of the things I even touched on within this is talking in regards to the Antichrist. Now, for those of you who know the Bible is very clear that it is actually the Antichrist that the Jews believe is the Messiah. And this is because they rejected Jesus in that time. In fact, let's go right to Scripture. It talks about this in John 10, 24 through 26. It says, "Then the Jews surrounded him, Jesus, and said to him, 'How long do you keep us in doubt? If you are the Christ, tell us plainly.' Jesus answered them, 'I told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But you do not believe because you are not my sheep.'" And this is very interesting. If you read a lot of Jesus in the Gospels here, you would understand that Jesus spoke quite often just in parables and, just in a way that it really, the reason for this is because he wanted people to engage, to really seek him out. Is this the Messiah? Well, the fact of the matter is the Jews at the time were expecting some, strong guy on a horse and whatever to come in and ride in and just overthrow the Romans that were oppressing the Jews at the time. And that just didn't happen. So therefore, they actually rejected Jesus, or a lot of them did. In fact, one of the things that they were looking for was someone who is intelligent, charismatic, maybe a military genius, an economic genius. And of course, maybe something that comes with that is someone who's proud and boastful. Who knows what they were thinking of at the time? But that's not how Jesus portrayed himself. So the fact of the matter is that the Jews at the time, they just overlooked Jesus, and they are still looking for a Messiah. In fact, I just came across this great article right here that says, it's from Bibliototo News. It says, "Rabbi says the Antichrist is the Messiah the Jews are waiting for." So they are still expecting a Messiah to come. And again, this goes into the conversation that I had with this woman, which I'll get to this in a minute. But in Matthew 24, the Bible talks about how the Antichrist is revealed, that he is actually the false Messiah. And Jesus went on to say, "Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation," which, by the way, it could be the Antichrist standing in the Holy of Holies, maybe sacrificing a pig or something that would be so obvious that the Jews would say, "Oh my gosh, this is not the Christ that or the Messiah that we were expecting." It goes on, "Spoken by Daniel, the prophet, standing in the holy place. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who is on the housetop not go down and take anything out of his house, and let them who is in the field not go back to get his clothes." And the reason for this is a warning, because ultimately the Antichrist is going to be hunting these people down. So if we go back to that list of characteristics that I told you about of what the Messiah would be, this is actually a list of what the Antichrist will be. Here it is: intelligent. Here's the scripture with it. Charismatic, crafty politician, distinct physical appearance, military genius, economic genius, blasphemer, utterly lawless, selfish, greedy, materialist, controlling, proud and self-exalting, above God and everything. So let's go back to this conversation with this woman. She assured me, she said this right to my face. She goes to me, well, I know that when the Messiah comes, I'll be able to recognize him. I'm sure of this. This was absolutely fascinating to me. And it actually begged the question. I have to go back to what the notes of what I actually said to her. It begged the question, so who is Jesus to you? To which he had a very interesting take on all of this, in that she believes that, well, every generation has its own Messiah. Goes on to say here, Jesus might have been the Messiah of that generation, and she believes that there's a Messiah for every generation. So she went on to say, so why would I care about Jesus? Because all those laws died with the temple that was destroyed at the time. So she's expecting a new Messiah, which of course she will recognize it. And of course, even as this rabbi even said, that the Antichrist is the Messiah that the Jews are waiting for. So when this guy comes, do you think she'll fall right in line and say, this is my Messiah? It's very plausible. But let's go back to Matthew 24:35. Jesus himself said, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. So therefore, what she actually said, which was to say that those laws died with the temple destroyed in that time. Well, if she knew the New Testament, which she quoted she did, then why would she completely overlook this point, saying that my words will never pass away? It's so crystal clear. Folks, that's the point of why we're trying to just recognize, the end times. This is why, I bring up all this stuff about eschatology. I'm trying to study this. I'm trying to say, okay, what's in the news? What's going on? And therefore present it to you as evidence, because it begs the question, just how close are we? I don't know, but I'm going to keep pressing into God. I'm going to keep, asking for opportunities like this, because I just want to I don't want anyone to perish. But the point is that if you don't know scripture, which only comes from reading it yourself, you can listen to me, that's great, but go to the scripture yourself. Be ready for moments like this. And I'll even admit, I wasn't quite ready for this one. And I was even praying in that moment saying, God, what do you want me to say? But I do walk away from it saying, okay, we're good, because I know that somewhere along the way, I definitely planted a seed within her. And also I get to share this awesome story with all of you folks. What a blessing that is. Folks, that's my word of the day. Be ready. Really, just be ready, because you never know when you're going to encounter people like this. And really, that's the reason why I do this. I just want to keep pushing content out there that is going to get people's attention and say, hey, keep looking up. We don't know when that day is, but, well, it'd be great if it was today. Thank you so much for subscribing. I've got all these new subscribers, and if you haven't yet and you feel I'm worth it, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. And folks, I've got a very big announcement here coming very soon. I'm still kind of developing this, but stay tuned. You'll know when it comes. That's it, folks. Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you guys next time.